Hi, and welcome back to my table. My name is Alex Emberhelm. Thank you so much for being here, and I am moving. I am so excited to say that now things are getting finalized, and it's go time. It's happening. We've decided. So I am moving from Washington State to Massachusetts, and there's a lot of reasons why I'm moving, and a lot of reasons why I picked Massachusetts. But what you really need to know is that this is a big cross-country move. This is not my first cross-country move. I moved from Texas to Ohio, then back to Texas. I'm born and raised in Texas on a little island off the coast called Galveston. And then I moved from Texas to Washington 5 years ago. And now we are moving to Massachusetts to be closer to family and also be on the East Coast, because it seems like everybody ended up on the East Coast whenever I ever thought everyone would end up on the West Coast. And it's fine. It's fine. I really thought everyone was going to end up on the West Coast, and they're not. It's the East Coast. So we're moving east. We're going east. We're going to the East Coast. But the exciting thing, the reason why this is such an exciting thing, and the reason why I'm making a YouTube video about this is because this does not just mean that we are moving closer to family and to friendly locations and all of that kind of stuff. No. It also means my stream time, the time that I stream every day, is going to go from the middle of the day at 1:30 in the afternoon, which worked really well previously, but as I move through life, it no longer works, to 4:30 in the afternoon, which is so exciting, because that means I have a whole day ahead of my streams to do whatever I want, instead of a little bit a day, stream a little bit a day. And let me tell you, what am I planning to fill my time with? What am I planning to do with all of this time that I am going to now get in a big chunk, a big block? Games. I'm planning on doing games. I'm planning on doing a lot of gaming. So I wanted to sit down and make a formal video outlining my hopes and dreams for gaming in Massachusetts 2026-2027. I don't think this is all going to happen all at once. I think that there's going to be a lot of trial and error with a lot of this stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people move through my games before we lock down really a good individual, like a good group, like a really good group. But I am so excited to get my time back, and I am so excited to have large chunks of time to do games on that isn't just Saturday. Saturday's still going to be a really big deal, but it isn't just Saturday. So these are my plans for gaming after I move to Massachusetts. First and foremost, Dungeons & Dragons. I am not going to drop Dungeons & Dragons, although a couple of things are going to be changing. See, here in Washington, we would play Dungeons & Dragons every Saturday, weekly. Now, I say every Saturday because we really only played 1 to 2 Saturdays a month, because everybody had conflicts, scheduling conflicts and stuff. But we did that over the course of 4 years, so we did get an entire campaign in. So I'm hoping that by switching it to bi-weekly, people will be more invested and people will be more willing to move around their life and make accommodations for Dungeons and Dragons. That's my hope. That's my dream. That's my wish. So it is going to be a bi-weekly D&D game in person, and it is not going to be in the Wayward Arrow setting. The Wayward Arrow setting is my setting that I created in 2015, whenever I was very first starting to do world building and all that kind of stuff. And I've developed it throughout this entire time. It is going to be coming out in a book. Do not worry, that will be happening. However, around 2023, I started tinkering with the idea of low fantasy. I started tinkering with the idea of not as much magic being around, magic items being incredibly rare and very powerful. I started tinkering around with low fantasy, just low fantasy stuff. And I ended up thinking up the Three Queens setting, which is what I call it right now, which is my second setting that I've ever created for D&D. There are other settings that I've created for other games, which I'll get to in a second, but this is the setting that I created for D&D. The Three Queen setting. So the Three Queen setting has the same gods. It has the same set of gods as the Wayward Arrow setting, as it is a plug and play set of gods that is in Alex's Bombastic Oddities, which is my book, if you want that link in the doobly-doo. But the gods are plug and play. So I was going to plug and play them into the Three Queen setting. However, some creature, which honestly started as an Eldrazi but morphed into something a little bit different, has come over the setting, has come over this universe, because Eldrazi are like outside the universe, has come over this universe and has infected the gods and has overcome the gods, and the gods are now asleep. Their magical powers still exists, but it's not as intense. And the gods do not listen to prayer. They do not interfere anymore. They do not meddle. They just are all asleep. In my mind, gods are infinite. Gods are immortal. So what's really happening is the god's power is being drained from the gods by this creature, right, by this creature. And so they are so powerless because they're being drained that they're like in a catatonic state kind of a deal. But the people of the world realm call it sleeping. So one day the gods went to sleep, according to these people, right? According to the people of the realm. The gods went to sleep. And then there was darkness, there was terror, there was horror, the moon, the sun, oh no. And then these three entities, which are the Three Queens, came around and they found this realm, they found this world, and they decided that they were going to help the world. And they were going to bring light to the world, bring balance to the world, fix the weave, all of that kind of stuff. And now everybody worships these Three Queens as the main gods, because they're the main godlike beings that are saving the world and keeping the world in balance. And the actual gods are the old gods now, right? So that's kind of the setting, the Three Queens setting's main plot point. In actuality, these Three Queens are parasites that live off of the being that, how like sharks have the things that clean it? They're like that. They live off of the being that is draining the power and eating the power of the old gods. And they have descended to Earth because of their hubris, because of their vanity. Like they're very much based off of like the 7 deadly sins kind of an idea, where each one of them has this sin that fills them. Like one is gluttonous, one is vanity, one has hubris or pride. And they descended onto the world while still feeding on the beast, while still feeding on the being that is like on top of the gods. They descended onto the world to feed their hubris and to feed their pride and to feed their egos, essentially. It's egotistical. And so they're doing a good thing for the world because they're in a parasitic relationship and they need the world to exist in order for them to do the good, in order for them to get their nourishment. But ultimately, the idea of that setting is that your players at level 20 find this out and undo this thing. So that is the Three Queens setting that I want to use for the D&D game that I'm going to be running. I really don't have a lot of it fleshed out besides just that big, because I'm top down. So I'm excited to build out the Three Queens setting, and I definitely want to build it out with my players. Like I'd love for my players to be able to create towns and cities, because like whenever I brought my players into the Wayward Arrow setting, the Wayward Arrow setting was already like basically created because they had basically done everything already. This time I really want other creative inputs. Talking to Grub really highlighted for me how important it is to have more than one person's input in a thing, in a setting, in a world, in a project. And so I really want to bring other people's ideas into the Three Queens setting. Also, I don't know if it's going to be permanently called the Three Queens setting, but that is just my my little idea. So that is one of the games that I want to run. That is one of the games that I want to run. So like I said, that is a bi-weekly game. So it's going to be happening every other Saturday, I hope. If it also could be a Wednesday or a Tuesday, but seems like most people have off work on Saturdays and most people have the kids, you know, where they're at Saturdays. So bi-weekly Saturday game. On the other Saturday, this game is hopefully going to be in person. I am going to try my damnedest to make this game in person. But if it needs to be online, I will also make it online as well. And that is a switching TTRPG game. Now, I don't know really how to explain this shortly, so this is just going to be a long explanation, but hey, this is a YouTube video. You picked long format for a reason. Basically, what I want to do is I want to have a game where we complete one arc of a TTRPG every season. We complete, so every arc is a new TTRPG, right? So you start out in Stars Without Numbers, and then you go to Cyberpunk, and then you do Blades in the Dark, and then you switch, and you don't do like a month or a couple weeks because people may miss or whatever. I'm talking about I'm not talking about a one shot either. I'm talking about like an entire arc where you get in D&D standards. I would want to do 3 levels. I would want to do 3 levels of D&D if I could put everything in D&D standards, you know. I would do 3 levels of the game. And that is what I want to do. This is for 2 reasons. One, I really want to test out other TTRPGs to bring to you guys. For my content and for my own personal archive, I really want to test out other TTRPGs. And this is a fun way to test out other TTRPGs. I also want to do this game because I just want to play something besides D&D, you know what I mean? I just want to try out all the other TTRPGs that people have been recommending to me. Also, this is not just me testing out TTRPGs and haha, you're subjected to my will, but I want to do a yay, nay system. And what I mean by a yay, nay system is a yay means we get to play more of the game, as in whenever the arc is over, if everyone goes yay, we play another arc, or we play another one shot, or we play another thing. If everyone goes nay in the middle of the arc, then we drop it. We abandon it. We don't do it anymore. So I'm not just subjecting people to my will. I would also want to have player input and have a yay, nay scenario where you can yay or nay at any time. So if we get 3 sessions in and y'all are I don't want to play this, then you just nay and we're out. We bounce. We bounce. So that is definitely something that is important to me. Also, do not worry, I will be doing all videos on all of the TTRPGs that we will be playing, little reviews or little reflections. I don't like to call them reviews because I am not an expert in any way, shape, or form whenever it comes to game theory or game design. I am just an individual who has an individualistic idea of what games should be, and maybe doesn't follow exactly what the rest of people who like TTRPGs like I do like crunch. I'm not I do like narrative whenever narrative is just narrative, but I also really like crunch, and I really like an amalgamation of different things. And so I feel comparing and contrasting them would be one of the skills that I would be able to have, because I have the language to compare and contrast. I just don't have the I think that my preferences will probably be beneficial if it's more of a reflection than a review, if that makes sense. So the TTRPGs that I'm interested in playing are Stars Without Numbers, Cyberpunk Red, Daggerheart, I am going to give it another shot, Thirsty Sword Lesbians, Draw Steel, Call of Cthulhu, 10 Candles, which I have a fantastic scenario for. I'm so excited to play 10 Candles. I can't even express to you how excited I am to play 10 Candles. Dread and Monster of the Week. Also, there's a little piece of this thing that I need to communicate with my players and understand what people want out of testing new TTRPGs, because I will advertise this as testing TTRPGs and learning new systems and stuff. Like, that's what I'm going to advertise this as. There's two scenarios that I see this going down as. Okay, so the first scenario I see this going down as is you make new player characters every single TTRPG. Every time we go to a new TTRPG, you make a new player character. They don't know anything about the previous stuff. They've lived in that world that entire time, and they are canonically in Call of Cthulhu. They are canonically in Blades in the Dark, and that's it. So that's one scenario that I can see running and being really fun. However, I just have a little itty bitty thingy-mabobber, little itty bitty idea that I would love to run by any players who wants to play this, which is, one of you guys are interdimensional time hoppers. So, I have a setting called the Sun Sea setting. And that is for Stars Without Numbers or Starfinder. I don't know. It's a sci-fi setting. It's a sci-fi setting. And basically what this setting is, it's a grim dark setting where the universe, okay, so I don't know if you know this about physics. I have to explain this about physics, but the universe is constantly expanding. Like right now, even as we speak, every single millisecond of that we speak, the universe is expanding farther and farther and farther from what people theorize is the Big Bang. That's what makes the theory of the Big Bang exist, is that the universe is still expanding and there's noise from, and we can actually view the universe expanding over the course of time, right? So the Sun Sea scenario, or the Sun Sea setting, is where that expansion of the universe has stopped. And not only has it stopped and slowed down and quit, it's reversed. And now the universe is collapsing in on itself again. And so all of these galaxies that human race and alien races have colonized, they are being destroyed in totality because they are being obliterated by the bands, or like the very farthest reaches of the universe collapsing in on itself again. And it's all going to go back to one singular atom, and then that singular atom will explode again, and it's the Big Bang. So it's basically the end of the universe, right? And this is like the actual end of the universe. Like, this is how we theorize the universe will end in our own timeline. So the only way to get out of this universe ending scenario, there's only one way, and that's to hop dimensions. That's to jump into a different dimension, because time travel is not real. Time travel doesn't exist. Jump into a different dimension on a parallel universe, because I don't know if you also know this, but if physics parallel universe, anyways, but it's to jump into a different dimension on a parallel universe, right? So the idea is that one of the factions of the world, one of the factions of the universe, has created a way to hop dimensions, to jump dimensions. They think. They don't know, they think. And so a group of volunteers or voluntold people get outfitted with interdimensional time hopping devices. And these devices have a charge in them, and then they have to charge up before they're able to be used again. This group that is testing out different TTRPGs, the player characters, are the first group of people from, I would do Stars Without Number. So we would play a little bit in Stars Without Number, and then you become the first people who jump into different dimensions. And the arcs that you go through are you surviving in the different dimensions, trying to jump back to your own dimension. And so that's kind of what this is. It's dimension hopping. It's yeah, that's my way of reasoning that you would have the same character the entire time. And that's the point. That's the big difference between the two scenarios. In one scenario, you're making a new character every single time. And in the other scenario, you are the same character who knows that they're coming into a new world every single time. It's just the difference in between playing a single character or playing multiple characters. And it really truly depends on what the players want. I'm okay with either, because I know eventually I'm going to actually do a TTRPG live show with the Sun Sea. Again, I don't know what setting I'm going to put it, what system I'm going to put it under, but I'm going to do a TTRPG live show with the Sun Sea eventually. I know it's going to happen. So I'm not afraid to not use the Sun Sea scenario at that point. So yeah, that is the other bi-weekly one. So one Saturday will be D&D and one Saturday will be a new TTRPG every, I don't know, 2 months or so. But if we do interdimensional time hopping, I have to come up with a sick acronym. I have to come up with a really, really fun acronym like BUG or like, God, because interdimensional time hopper sounds really, really good, but it's not a good acronym. It's dimensional DTH. IDTH. Like, that's not cool. That doesn't sound fun. I don't know how people come up with that. Maybe it's just because I'm dyslexic and that's the reason why I have such struggle with it. But I absolutely struggle with coming up with acronyms, especially whenever it comes to like games and stuff. God, I struggle with coming up with acronyms. It sucks. But yeah, so those are the 2 games that we'll be running bi-weekly in person, I hope. But if I have to do the D&D one will be in person no matter what. But if the TTRPG one has to be online, I understand. And now to talk about the one that you can actually participate with. Haha, yes, I did save one that you can participate with for people who go through the actual video and watch the video. There is going to be, starting in probably October or November, there is going to be a monthly online Blades in the Dark game set in the 1950s Galveston, Texas, where subscribers or members get to be a member of a smuggling ring, and each session there is a one-shot where you make with this scenario using your character. So it's going to be like Adventurers Guild or Pathfinder Society, but Blades in the Dark. So everybody's going to have a character, and they're all going to be part of this smuggling operation, this smuggling ring. Everyone's going to have a different job in the smuggling ring and do a different thing for the smuggling ring. And I will randomly select people from members or from subscribers on Twitch, and they will be able to get into the game once a month, and we will play a scenario, and that earns you points towards your smuggling ring, because your smuggling ring actually has like stats and stuff in Blades in the Dark. So your like crew, your like thing has stats, and so everybody will be working towards making this the best smuggling ring in all of Galveston. So it's going to be really, really fun. And I'm really excited to play with members. The reason why I've done games with viewers before, but it always ends up not going very well because either I get super busy or they get super busy and we can't meet at the time. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make basically a Google form, and I'm going to put the Google form out in subscribers only or members only places. And the Google form is going to have the time and day that the game is going to run. So the game is going to run on Thursday, 2 weeks from now, or on Thursday, the 20th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right? Something like that. And whoever can join that game at that time will then submit to the Google form. And whoever can't play just won't submit to the Google form. And that way we are guaranteed to have play sessions, and it's going to be a guaranteed one shot. It's not gonna extend out. I will cut it short if I have to, but it's going to be a one shot or a mission fail. I can do mission fails too. But that is essentially how this is going to run. So it's a guaranteed game so that nobody's wasting time, and also nobody misses games. And then the other kind of big thing about this is that if you've played in the past, I would say 6 months, you can't play again until 6 months have passed or until everybody has played. Once everybody has played, it'll open back up, or until 6 months have passed, then it'll open back up. But that is kind of the rough draft way that I'm going to run these games for people who support me as a thank you. I've been trying to run games for Twitch subscribers for a really long time, and it just never works out. And I think that this is the best scenario for it working. I think this is just the way that it's going to have to be. It's going to have to be that I set a time and day, and if you can make it, you make it. And if you don't make it, you don't make it. And that is okay, because guess what? Next month, there'll be another one. Also, if there does end up becoming a day where, like, let's say like Thursdays, no one can come to Thursday game, I will then repost the Google form with an updated time. So like, let's say Thursday the 20th at 1 p.m., I get like 2 people who say they can come. That gets nixed. And then it becomes now Tuesday the 20 whatever at at 4 p.m. You know what I mean? So like, it's not just like a one and done scenario where like, oh, if it's not done that month, it's not done that month. No, I'm still willing to work with people. I'm just going to be a little more stringent on my time so that I don't fail you guys. Essentially, I'm setting up these boundaries so that I don't fail you. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to come play with me, I would definitely recommend joining the Discord because it's probably going to be the best place to find all the information on games. The Discord is in the doobly-doo, is in the Linktree. It's in the Linktree. I don't post my Discord link on YouTube videos because that is how bots find it. And if bots found my Discord server, I would honestly cry. I would just cry. So come join. Finally, I do want to talk about my video game time in Massachusetts because I have started posting video games. If you haven't noticed, I started posting my Chrono Trigger playthrough, which has been super duper fun, to be completely honest. If you are a Final Fantasy person and you've never played Chrono Trigger, I really super recommend playing Chrono Trigger. It's really good. It's really, really good. So in August, I'm going to finish Chrono Trigger. I'm going to do 2 runs of Chrono Trigger. So that's why I think it's going to take me all of September. But in September and August, I'm going to finish Chrono Trigger. Then we're doing Xenoblade Chronicles because someone gave me a ROM. Legally, of course, but somebody gave me a ROM. So we're going to do Xenoblade Chronicles. And then we are either going to do Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6. It super duper depends on what people want. I'm going to have people vote. Final Fantasy 6 is my second favorite Final Fantasy of all time. It's really hard to say it's not my favorite because I love it so much, but I love Final Fantasy 6 and I would love to replay it for you guys. But Final Fantasy 3 is new to me and I know a lot of people enjoy watching me experience new games. Then I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen after Final Fantasy 3 and Final Fantasy 6. I have no earthly idea. All I know is that I am probably going to play the new Fable on stream and document it and put the VODs on YouTube. I'm probably going to play the new Fable on stream. And the reason why I'm going to play the new Fable is vastly because I've never played a Fable before. Even though that's like right up my alley, exactly the kind of game that I would want to play, my perfect game. I have never played Fable because I had a mom who was like, you have a PlayStation, you don't need an Xbox. And I'd be like, but mom, they're Xbox exclusive games. And she's like, nope, you have a PlayStation, you don't need an Xbox. So I played a bunch of Final Fantasies, I played Kingdom Hearts, I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and got stuck. But I played a bunch of PlayStation classics, but I have never played a bunch of Xbox classics like Witcher or Fable. So I think I am going to play Fable. Alrighty, so those are all the games that I'm hoping to play starting in August whenever I move to Massachusetts and get established in Massachusetts. I'm super duper excited to be able to play so many games, and I'm super duper excited to explore more TTRPGs. If you like that little nugget of information in the middle of the video, please check out the link tree below and go ahead and join the Discord and see all of the interesting things that we got going on. Also, you can check out my Twitch. I do stream on Twitch. If you have any questions about that as well, I stream on Thursdays, Fridays, Sundays, Mondays, but be careful because starting, I believe the 24th, I'm not going to be streaming anymore until September. So just check it out before then. All right, that's going to do it for me. I am so excited for games. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. And I hope that I get to see you at my table. You are always welcome at my table. And I will see you next week with something fun.